Hello and welcome to another session of Karen's Colours. I'm Dr. Karen and these are my colour conversations. This is another one of those monthly readings, only this time we're going to be looking at September. As usual, we'll be looking at each of your birth months for September, and as we go through, if you haven't been here before, then you might find something that's quite different from the usual sorts of predictions that are made on YouTube. If you are a regular viewer, then welcome back. I hope that your August went as it should have, and if you used the colours that were missing to incorporate those into your lives, then maybe, just maybe, it was a better August for you than it might otherwise have panned out. I'm particularly thankful to you for attending these sessions because I really am still in the experimental stage, wondering whether or not these are worthwhile. But they're fun to do, and I hope you enjoy them as well. So let's get started. For September's readings, I've chosen an oracle card from the Gabrielle Bernstein's The Universe Has Your Back. It's a new season, and so we should have some interesting stuff coming to us from the universe. And hopefully those messages will resonate with you and consolidate some of the reading as we go along. So let's now do a reading for people born in August. And the first thing we'll do is choose an oracle card. Now, as usual, I have a great deal of trouble shuffling these. But that doesn't really matter. I pre-shuffle, and then it doesn't require a great deal of extra effort. Let's choose this oracle card here and pop it under here. And hopefully that will consolidate our colour reading. And now, colour reading for people born in the month of August to see how their September 2025 is likely to eventuate. People born in August, and we're looking at September 2025. So the energy you bring from the past is brown on brown. The energy in the middle of the month is pink on cyan. The energy towards the end of the month is blue on red. And the underlying energy is red on red. Well, you'll note firstly that we have two of these circles that have the same color top and bottom. This determines a certain amount of rigidity in the sorts of ways in which you are going to be able to manage the month of September. When the same color appears as both the motivation and the activity, then the two of them feed into one another in a cyclic way that can be just as creative as it is destructive, depending on the choices that are made. What is unusual here is that we have only 12 of these cards, 12 of these combinations in the pack. To get one is uncommon. To have two is highly unusual. But here we find also that the red on red is also repeated in your future as the drive or motivation that leads you off into October. So let's have a look at this in more detail. Red on red is all about energy. It's energy inside, it's energy outside, it's passion, it's making snap decisions, it's choosing what you want on the basis of desire. And for that reason, this particular combination links to the tarot card known as the Lovers. It means that there are choices that you are making that will permeate the entirety of this month. And those choices are snap choices. They're choices made on the basis of how you feel in the immediate time that those choices are presented to you. That can be good. It can mean that you have the confidence and the courage and the wherewithal to get out there and grab an opportunity as it arises. But it can also be destructive in that red on red also refers to the spilling of blood. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean physical spilling of blood. It can be a metaphorical one, but it does actually offer you the option to be careful, because when red appears in our cultures, it always has to do with danger, the potential for danger, the potential as a warning. Be careful what it is that you wish for, because you might just get it. And just as the history of the lovers was all about choices made on snap decisions, sometimes those choices turned out not to be particularly advantageous. In the past, what you're bringing with you into the month of September is brown on brown. This is the ability to work hard, to learn skills, to put your aims and goals, the things that you desire from inside, into the real world, and from that real world create new desires and goals that allow you to constantly move forward. So with all of these goals and aspirations being put into the real world, brown on brown actually resonates in the tarot with the Knight of Pentacles. It's the slowest moving knight. It's the one who plods along one step after another, getting towards his goal. And that is what has been happening to you in August, and it's the energy that you bring with you into the start of September. You've been working hard. You've been doing what is necessary in order to move forward. You've obtained the goals that you have been setting, and then setting new ones so that you're working towards those as well. But how does this underlying energy, this lover's energy, impinge upon that? Well, here we have an issue that arises that can actually destroy all the hard work that you've done here. I said that red on red is the danger signal. This is the color combination, when it's red throughout, that says be very careful what you are choosing, where you are going next. And indeed, that's exactly what is likely to disrupt your goals and the ambitions that you have here. When we add red as the action, that is the sudden choices made and the demands that you make upon yourself and those around you, this is what I want, and we attach those to the goals that are pushing you forward, you can actually find yourself creating goals or heading towards goals or making snap decisions about them that might not necessarily attune with exactly what it is that you want. And this is because the drive to get on with your particular aims in life is something that is internal. You may not be in complete touch with it. Similarly, if we have the red inside, the jumping out of your skin because you are so intensely dedicated to whatever it is that you desire, in the real world, you can be making mistakes, doing things that are likely to disrupt those goals, disrupt the achievements that normally would happen as a result of this interaction between the red and brown. So where does that lead you? Well, by the middle of the month, most of the red here will have calmed down. Whatever disruptions, and I'm talking about disruptions here because you've gone to pink. This tends to suggest that something has completely gone astray or headed off in a direction that you weren't expecting. And so now you have a situation where in the real world, you are vulnerable. Whatever the choices were, whatever the ambitions were, whatever the results were from what you did here, now has given you an opportunity to settle back and wait. because there's no energy left. You've run out. At the same time, there is this drive for perfection. Whatever you wanted to do back here, you wanted it to be perfect. You wanted it to be the sort of thing that you would have not only stabilized within your life, but something that remains as perfect, not just the now, but forever. But in the real world, that's not happening. Instead, you're finding yourself having to re-evaluate and actually even ask for help, because all of the energy in the world that you had down here hasn't been enough to attain what you were asking for back here. In fact, this lack of energy and the aim for perfection that you have not been able to attain so far is, in the tarot, the Eight of Wands. This is stalemate. You can't think of anything new. You've run out of ideas. Everything is stagnant. And in the real world, there's no energy to move anyway. You can't. You're caught between a rock and a hard place. Now, add to that this underlying energy here, and we get a slightly more liberated way of managing this. Pink over red, or pink and red together, regardless of whether they're on top or below, is the pregnancy. Now, you may not actually be pregnant as such, as we talk about in human fertility, but this is all about the creation of a new baby. The frustration that is felt with not being able to attain the goals that you had back here, or the disruption of those goals, now leads you into a new desire, something new that you want to create. But this is very, very fragile. It is fragile because it has no absolute energy of its own to be able to turn into anything in particular. So you have to mold it extremely carefully. On the other hand, we also have red in the real world, this demand for action, the doing things, impulsivity, and everything else that goes with red as an action in the real world, and it's linked to cyan. Now, red and cyan are opposites on the color wheel. So we have here a situation where you are swinging between absolute stalemate, the search for perfection, and the need to just get out there and smash things and change them just for the sake of changing them. It's a rather destructive force, as you can imagine. And swinging backwards and forwards between these two, and at the same time creating some new project, some new baby of your own making, can in fact create a dissonance between the underlying energy and where you are through the majority of the month. Moving towards the end of the month, we now find these inverted and darkened. Instead of a lack of energy in the real world, you're suddenly re-energized internally. So this red down here, this need or drive, this jumping out of your skin stuff that causes you to want to be activated and do something, re-emerges. And this time it emerges internally, unlike here where it was dissipated externally to the extent that there was nothing left of it. As well as that, cyan is a pale form of blue. And again, there's an inversion, whereas the blue, the pale cyan, the internal drive towards perfection now becomes one of, I have duties to perform, I have to get myself organized, I am now going to have to do my duty, nurture myself, nurture others, do what is necessary in order to satisfy this massive drive internally that is causing me to have to work hard. In many ways, this starts to look like the sort of work that you were doing back here, but this is far hotter. This is far more cantankerous. There is more energy involved here, a lot less thinking. You've got some yellow in here, but there's nothing in here. Yellow doesn't appear at all. But at the same time, the blue on red is a celebration. This links to the tarot card known as the Four of Wands. It's the family card. It's having both mother and father energy involved in whatever it is that you do, and they're in the right place. The father energy is internal. This is the creative energy, the one that says, look, I'm in charge. I need to make some decisions here. And in the real world, it's the mother energy that says, well, just hang on a minute. There are other things to consider. Now, if we add the red underlying energy here, we end up with exactly the same issues, exactly the same interpretations. Blue over red is blue over red. Red over red is red over red. So in many ways, the lovers and the Four of Wands will lead you towards a place that is extremely happy, extremely joyful, a place where celebration takes place. Just don't overindulge, because red does have a tendency to create a little bit of overindulgence. So where are we going to take this? If we look at the cards that are missing, we might get a clue as to what is available to us to help along the way to ensure that those happy times that are likely to occur here are in fact happy for a long time, not just a fleeting moment. Well, we don't have any black and we don't have white. Red is our dominant color and we have a lot of it. There is no yellow, there is no green, but you do have blue and you have brown. There is no orange, there's no grey, there's no purple, but you do have both pink and cyan. So these 5 colours represent the skills that you will be using throughout the month of September. And in using these, you will find yourself wrapped up in jobs, in tasks, in goals that you want to aspire to, a situation where you're going to find yourself making snap decisions and maybe even regretting them, because this is an opportunity here for regret. But here, we find that by the end of the month, things will be sailing along for you quite nicely. So to help you along, let's have a look at what's missing, because these colours are the ones that will help you to determine how you're going to be able to attain that good outcome here in the best possible way. Well, black is taking time out. It's taking time to get in touch with your inner self and ensuring that you indeed find out what it is that you actually need to do that sits in alignment with your soul energy. White is all about being enlightened, but it also has to do with curiosity. What do you want to learn? What do you want to know about that is likely to be available to you? What experiences do you need to have? Yellow has to do, again, with learning, but this time it's learning and remembering. It's remembering what it is that you have learned and putting those things into practice. It's also joy and the overcoming of fears. Green has to do with new pastures, new beginnings, finding opportunities for creating what you desire out of life. Orange has to do with overcoming crises and being able to survive in a congenial way. Grey has to do with overcoming confusion, being able to find your way through those misty areas of life where you're not quite sure what you need to do, but eventually will find a way through. And purple is all about destruction and recreation. It's about healing. It's about making sure that the things that you have to change will change in a positive direction. So out of those 7 colours, which is the one that's least appealing and which is the one that is most appealing? And having chosen those, please consider putting them into your life during the month of September so that you have the opportunity to create the sort of blissful paradise that you want in the middle of the month but are prevented from getting, but by the end of the month should be able to obtain. So let's now have a look at the oracle card to see what it has to say on the subject. Well, here we have My outer experiences are a reflection of my internal condition. Well, most certainly they are. Outer experiences here have to do with a job well done, help available from others, and being organized through the choices that you make, and being careful. Your internal condition is a desire for something new, wanting perfection, and here the jumping to the sorts of decisions that you need to make in order to obtain what you're looking for. And there you have it, your birthday month as it plays out for September 2025. I hope that these readings are useful to you to help guide you through the various different decisions that need to be made and the activities that accompany those decisions. But if it doesn't resonate immediately, perhaps come back in a week or so, because you never know just how these things tend to play out. And often we don't recognize them unless they are in retrospect. As I mentioned at the start, I pre-shuffle all the cards, and if you want to know how I go about doing this, I will attach a link to the video that explains that down below in the show notes. But if you've got any comments to make, any ideas that either support or even refute the sort of information that I'm handing out here, please leave them in the comments. I'm more than happy to engage. After all, a discussion isn't a discussion. A conversation is not a conversation when there's only one person doing the talking. So for September, I wish you all the best. I hope your colours work for you. I certainly use mine. Mine this month were all about to stop, settle back, and reorganize. And as you can see from the way in which I've presented this month's sessions, I've done a little bit of just that. So until next time, may your colours guide you to a wonderfully fulfilling life. Bye.